Thank you very much, and a very good morning to everyone. And thanks to ICD organizers for giving me this opportunity. Because why I want to talk on this important issue to the Europeans, or especially in the European participants, because coming back from the third world country, it is very important for us to have sympathizers, supporters, and compassioners who could raise our issues in the capitals where it is very important these issues to be raised. Anyway, I'm going to speak about the hate speech against minorities in Pakistan with reference to Christian and Hindus. When I was in plane, I was preparing my preparation and sent something to Rosie for the approval or something. But when yesterday, since I started attending this conference, believe me, 30% of my presentation I got from the different remarks or reviews of the participants, and also the reviews of some colleagues, lecturers. First of all, I would like to start. In the day before lecture, our one of the lecturer, a colleague from Malta, the former president of Malta, she said, democracy is not the majority. She quoted someone, democracy is not a majority, but it is a protection for the minority. It inspired me a lot, because when we are on the way of the democracy, actually we are for the support and for the promotion and protection of the rights of the persons who are vulnerable, including minorities, persons with disabilities, transgenders, and senior citizens and others. And other remarks came up from some professor that if any state calls itself a religious state, like Pakistan, Iran, and Israel, that means by default it is a discriminatory state. It ratifies the discrimination on the basis of the religion among its citizens, which is totally unacceptable in Universal Declaration of the Human Rights and also under the universal democratic principles. So, Pakistan by default is a religion state because of its constitution. Its preamble says that all the laws made in this country shall be according to the Islam. At the same time, by saying that, it says that all the minorities who are 93% in Pakistan, but 3% don't go on into the statistics, but 3% mean more than 10 million or 15 million people belonging to Christian and Hindu minorities. So, when these groups are there in such a big number, so they have to face different kind of issues, like blasphemy laws, forced conversion, abduction of the Christian and women girls, and also the purpose is to marry with them in the context of the love jihad. We have heard this concept from India. Similarly, the discrimination is there, the issue of the untouchability there. They are discriminated in a different forms and in different levels. But here I would like to focus on the hate speech. As we know, the social media is uncontrolled, unmonitored, and unaccountable almost all around the world. It is very, very difficult. But the country like us, it becomes more difficult to control the non-state actors who use derogatory, denigatory, and vilifying remarks using the religion, symbols, books of the religious minorities to defame them, to do their reformation, and also try to create some kind of problems for them in their social life, or especially to alienate and isolate them in the society. So this is the issue for the religious minorities in Pakistan, because on the social media, which is uncontrolled, unmonitored, and unaccountable, there are many religious clerics, even politicians, that they continue to defame the minorities. Sorry to say, I would like to give the example of the Prime Minister Imran Khan, ex-Prime Minister. One of his speech at the time of Christmas is when he says that the Christ is irrelevant in the human history. Can you imagine a Prime Minister is saying, who claims to be a person who has lived most of his life in Western countries, in UK. So how it defames, how it degrades the minorities in Pakistan, because then they feel if a prime minister is saying like this, how the other people would be saying. So it's mostly in whenever the Christmas comes or the Easter comes, the Muslim clerics and even normal people started saying that we should not say Merry Christmas to the Christians because they are infidels. When my daughter is here, she was sharing with me after the Christmas, one of their Muslim teacher said to them, Happy Christmas, and rest of the students challenged it. How the teacher can say a Christian a Merry Christmas. And these kind of statements are quite common in the media, especially in the days of the Christmas and Easter or any celebration even of the Hindu community, Diwali or other religious festivals. So it becomes very, very difficult for us to consider ourselves that we are equal citizens. That actually challenges our equal citizenship. And also sometimes we are called the low caste, low level citizens, because the historical background of the Christians in Pakistan is mostly they converted from the Sikhism, and they used to work as a slaves for them. And these, because of this situation, even any Christian or Sikh or Hindu has been able to get a good position. They are called by such titles and names which are derogatory, which are unacceptable, and which disclose them as a second not, a third not, a fourth class citizen. Because when you say any professor, any government official who belongs to a minority that you are a simple sanitary worker, how you can become an officer like this in this society? So it creates very much distress among them. So the situation is turning day by day very serious, and the people, how does it affect us? It creates sense of insecurity. When it creates sense of insecurity, whosoever gets chance to leave the country, they do so. But then devil is there. The devils are the foreign missions who outrightly reject 99% cases the applications of the Christians on the pretext that they are going to apply for the asylum. Yes, I believe that asylum is not a right, but how you can deny one's application on the presupposed notion that they will not come back? There are so many Muslims, Ahmadis, who come and apply and try this luck, this legal right. But why only for the Christian and Hindus this type of situations? On the other side, the people say to us Christians, and you say us, you are Christians so that you should go to the West. Last Christmas, one Muslim cleric, he floated a video, day before when Trump was president, and demanding, Mr. President, take all the Christians from Pakistan because they are Christian. So that's the issue. We are on a double sword. Being Christian, we are annexed with the European West. The European West does discriminate us while giving us visa and policies and programs supporting us. And at the same time, we also have to face discrimination on the basis of the religion, on the basis of the caste. And I would like to mention this kind of discrimination, and that reflects in hate speeches, and hate, not only hate speeches, in the government advertisements. Let's say the government is giving advertisement for the position of the sanitary workers. It is specially mentioned in a quoted words, this is only for non-Muslims. Only for non-Muslims. So that's further creates difficulty for us, and difficulty for us to get ourselves involved in society on an equal citizenship. So it becomes very, very difficult for us. So while I'm talking the effects of the hate speech, it creates sense of insecurity among us. It creates a sort of thinking that make us not a third class, a fourth class citizen. So consequently, it becomes for the minorities like Christian, Hindus, and the Ahmadiyya communities, it becomes very difficult for us to include ourselves on an equal footing in society, to run in the society on an equal footing in social, economic, and political sectors. So, especially the women, they are targeted, especially because they are considered more vulnerable, and they are. When you are minority, when you are women, and especially when you are person with disabilities, you are going to face a single, double, triple discrimination. And the hate speech, it adds fuel to fire. It adds fuel to fire, and it makes the situation very, very difficult for us. As we all know, the hate speech means any derogatory, any vilifying remarks using the religious symbols. Yes, the cross or the symbols of the Hindu community that are misused, misrepresented, and even in the media, when they have to show any character in the negative, like a villain, they will give him a name Peter, John, or any Hindu name. So that's create a difficulty. And this also happens in the curriculum. When they want to show in the book of the social sciences that the minorities are living in Pakistan, and when they show a Christian, they will show in a black color. And that's why in the social media, the Christian and Hindus are called traitors, because the Christians are annexed with the with the West, and the Hindus are annexed with the India, although we all are the son of the soils. Nobody conquered Pakistan. Overnight it changed and it became Pakistan from partition India. But unfortunately, the Pakistan was made by the Muslim minority of that time. And the Christian minority legislators at that time, they voted in the favor of Mr. Jinnah, considering that they will be supported and taken care because the minority is going to make another country and they will be taking care. But unfortunately, it went by totally opposite. And this hate speech, other than all the problems, because of the shortage of the time, this hate speech has really made us more vulnerable. You cannot take part in a social discussions, because as soon as the people knowing would be your name and knowing that you are a Christian, it becomes very, very difficult to stay on the media groups. Yes, these hate speeches are done by the non-state actors. However, when the state act passively, it becomes very, very difficult, and state seems to be compliant to this, because we need state, a government in our protection. But then there is an impunity for those who openly use vilifying, derogatory and denigatory remarks against us, and they are at large. Nobody is calling them anything, asking them anything, so then it becomes very difficult. The Chief Justice, former Chief Justice of Pakistan, while addressing some issue of the minorities, he said that he was addressing the Hindu community, and he said in such an arrogant way on the media that I don't want to even bring the name of this community on my name. So which kind of equality, which kind of social harmony, and which kind of social peace is we are expecting when the Chief Justice is saying like this, when the Prime Minister is saying like this? What claim we can make to the illiterate clergy of the Muslim community? If the Prime Minister and these people are the Chief Justice, former Chief Justice, they are saying like this. So why I am presenting this case again in front of you, keeping in view the time? The idea is, I have heard a lot about Ukraine, very happy that something is going to be done, and I have got the sense that sooner or later something positive will be coming out at the part of the Europe, or at least they are supporting Ukrainian people. It's very good. Although I have been following this issue from as an academician very well, but I'm happy that something is going to be done. But I just want to tell you, the world is beyond Europe. And if yes, one of the professor also said, if the democracy is not being applied in the poor countries or the third world countries or the countries where the people need support the more, then it's useless to have democracy in Europe, because it will yield a negative implications for them. Like Afghanistan is thousands miles from you, but its situation reflected and implicated West and USA, that the Western states or the Western countries have to go in there. Similarly, if the weaker sections are not addressed in these countries, ultimately it will become very difficult, and its effects and consequences will be felt in the big capitals also. So we need to counter the hate speech everywhere, whether it is Europe. If we talk about the anti-Semitism, it's good. Of course, it shouldn't be. But also, we should also try to focus that nobody calls the Christians or Hindus in Pakistan kafir or non-believer, infidels, traitors, because if state does everything for us, but if there is no respect, if there is no conscious equality among the other people of the country, then it is useless. So the idea is that in future, maybe ICD and other organizations might be doing lobbying and advocacy for the rights of the minorities, especially to stop the hate speech against minorities, because this issue is turning worse and worse day by day, and it is turning our children, especially belonging to minorities, into fear. And we need to protect our children. We need to protect our people. We need to protect our women. And for that purpose, we need support of the international community. We need support in a positive way. We need support. Although the state of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, I said, is not a party to this speech, hate speech, but the state will have to be proactive to give punishment to those who are considering the minorities helpless. And we are seeking the support from the international communities, as under the commitments of the government of Pakistan made under different conventions and covenants. And your support, your voice for us can be an added advantage for us. And it will be helpful for us to do further lobbying and advocacy with the government of Pakistan, with the UN treaties and bodies, with the European Union human rights systems, and with others to work to stop such kind of menace in Pakistan. And of course, this menace, if this menace is controlled in Pakistan, gradually it will be helpful to control across the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sabir, we are very happy to have you back at the ICD, so thanks again for coming for this conference. I appreciate your reflections and sharing the struggles and the challenges that you face on a daily basis, and I'm sure you've inspired many. Please come to Sabir in the break, talk to him if you have ideas, suggestions. I'm sure any support would be most welcome.